Welcome, students. I am back. So let's get to part 2 of PowerPoint Chapter 1. We are on page 15, creating a text slide with a multi-level bulleted list. So let me explain that a little bit here. A multi-level bulleted list slide consists of more than one level of bulleted text. So remember what a level is. That's a unit within a structure here. So there's a hierarchy. So we see that this bullet is to the left. This is a sub-bullet. This is to the right. It's a little bit indented here. So this is a sub-point. So here we have two different levels of bulleted text, hence a multi-level bulleted list slide. So if everything was over here on the left margin, all the bullets were on the same level, it would not be a multi-level bulleted list slide. It would just be one level. That being said, next, demoting text is creating a lower level paragraph. So when I move something from this level over to the right to this level, that would be demoting text. Promoting text would be creating a higher level paragraph. If I were to move this bullet over to the left, even with this, that would be promoting the text. So promoting to the left, demoting to the right. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Adding new slides and changing slide layouts. Let's talk about that here a little bit. We're on page 21 now. A layout, as you guys know, specifies the arrangement of placeholders on a slide. And we focused on this the other day, or at least on the previous video, with layouts. And I showed you just all the different options that were available to you in PowerPoint layouts. And those are available on the layout gallery, and that allows you to choose a slide layout. If none of the standard layouts meet your design needs, which really shouldn't happen because PowerPoint provides many different options for you, so I'm sure you could find one option that would work great for whatever you're doing. But if it doesn't, you can create a custom layout, so you can design your own. PowerPoint views. A view, as you guys probably are aware, because we've already talked about this in previous lessons, is the mode in which a presentation appears on the screen. So currently, what view am I in? I would call in specific names, but I don't want to embarrass people. But anyway, a view is the mode in which the presentation appears on the screen, and I am in the slideshow view right now because I'm presenting material to you. The normal view is composed of 3 working areas. This is the default view. What are those 3 areas? Well, the first area would be the Slides tab and the Outline tab. And you can alternate between views of the presentation in a thumbnail or a miniature of the slide, and then an outline of the slide text. So if you're using Office 2010, you see the Slides tab, which shows you the little miniature slide, and then you could click on the Outline tab, which shows you just the text. In 2013, which is what I'm using currently right now, it's a little bit different, but I'll show you how to toggle back and forth between slides and outline. The slide pane is on the right. This shows you a large version of, or a large view of the current slide on the right side of the window. And then below that, you have the notes pane. This is at the bottom, and this is an area where you can type notes and additional information. You can also print those notes out so you have them available when you give your presentation. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like here. Okay, rid of that. Okay, so anyway, here's what I have listed, and you see I have my different classes listed with some of my students' initials, so I apologize if I didn't put your initials on there. So some of my favorite students here: Computer Concepts, Dynamic Christian Living, Physical Education. Okay, so this is my normal view, and here to the left I have the Slides tab. I can switch it to outline by just clicking on this. Here's outline that just shows you the text. So here are the thumbnails of the slides. Here I have the slide pane. And then below that I have the notes pane that's listed for me. I can just click to add the notes. So this is the default view. This is the normal view. If I were to go to the slide sorter view, okay, this allows me to rearrange the slides quickly. Let me show it to you from the other PowerPoint I have. Yeah, so the purpose of this is just to rearrange the slides, and you can do that by clicking and dragging. If you want to work with your notes in full page view, you can display them in the notes page view. And then the splitter bar allows you to adjust the width of the slide pane and the height of the notes pane. You might see that on a quiz or test. So I would make sure that you know what the splitter bar is. And I'll show it to you. And then there's a slide indicator that's on the vertical scroll bar that shows the number and title of the slide you are about to display. So here's your splitter bar right here. There's one down here. You can make that as big as you want, basically. And then I can't get the slide indicator to pop up for me. There it is. So it tells you what slide that you're on. I just had to click on it. Inserting a clip art and photograph, that's on page 26. A clip, as you guys know, is a single media file. It can include art, it can include sound, movies, animation. That's a clip. So clip art would be a picture. The art is contained in the Microsoft Clip Organizer, which is a collection of drawings, photos, sounds, videos, and other media files shared among Office applications. And then the Office Collections contains all of these media files. The clip art task pane allows you to search for clips by using keywords. So if you typed in like farming or something like that, you would see clip arts that deal with farming. And then clips are organized in clip collections that combine topic-related clips into categories. Resizing a clip. So let's say I put a picture in or a clip art into my PowerPoint presentation. I can make that bigger or smaller. So that's resizing. Enlarging or reducing the size of a clip art graphic. One method, which is the complicated method, involves specifying the exact dimensions in a dialog box. I think that's pretty much unnecessary. The best way to do it would be to drag the sizing handles. And then when you insert a clip art or a picture, there's going to be a rectangle or a box around it. This is called a selection rectangle, and it has small squares and circles called sizing handles. Let me show that to you. Let me go to the other PowerPoint. So let's say I'll just insert a picture here of this alligator. So I can resize this picture. I can make it bigger or smaller. I would recommend dragging the corner, not the sides here, because it can distort the picture. So that's how that's done. Something that you might want to do with your slideshow, when you get to the end, you know how it goes to that black slide that just looks kind of weird. What you might want to do is end your slide with the title slide, which you showed at the beginning. So instead of retyping your title slide, you can just copy it, or the technical word would be duplicate it. So duplicating a slide. One method would be click the slide you want to duplicate, click the new slide arrow in the slides group on the home tab, and then click duplicate selected slides. I actually think there's an easier way to do it. The way that I duplicate slides would be just to right click on the thumbnail and then click duplicate, and then it'll copy that slide, and then you can just click and drag it to wherever you want. That seems to be the best way to do it. By the way, we're on page 38, so sorry I didn't mention that before. Arranging a slide, you're going to use drag and drop to drag and then drop the thumbnail, that duplicate slide, to a new location. A line indicates the new location of the selected slide. And then correcting errors. I have a visitor. Let me pause and I'll be right back. That was Mr. Merrill. I had to talk to him for a second. So anyway, I asked him if he wanted to be on the video, and he said no. So, correcting errors, page 40. There are 3 types of corrections that you're going to make here. The first being an addition. Additions are necessary when I omit text from a slide and I need to add it later. So basically, whenever I'm adding text, we call that an addition. Deletion is when I'm taking text out. So the text is incorrect or I don't need it anymore. That's a deletion. And then the next one is a replacement, or we could even say a modification. And this is necessary when you want to revise the text in a presentation. So I know with my students, with you guys, you're not going to make mistakes on your projects. But anyway, these are the types of errors that you would be correcting. And hopefully you check, please check and make sure that you don't have misspellings and mistakes on your labs. That would be a good thing. Adding a transition. Now we get to the fun stuff. Page 43, animation. And watch this example right here. Boom. Animation includes a special visual and sound effect applied to text or content. You can do the sound effects, but they can get a little annoying at times. So I remember in my class in high school for a computer, I put sounds on the project that I did, and my teacher said the sounds were a little, I think annoying maybe was the word he used. I can't remember which word he used, but I don't think he liked them. But he still gave me a good grade, so that was nice. So an animation is typically between point to point here, like what you just saw. A slide transition is a special animation effect used to progress from one slide to the next in a slideshow, such as that honeycomb transition that I just used. And I'll show you where the transitions are. Here's the transitions that you can use. So there's, you have glitter, vortex, I have honeycomb. Yep, so I used honeycomb for these. And then animations are right here. So you can click on the different animations, different options that you have. Split, shape, wheel, random bars, all kinds of stuff. Again, there's that honeycomb transition, changing the document properties. Hopefully you guys are faithful to do the document properties in your projects, and I think we already know how to do that. We should know, I'm not going to mention names, but document properties, this is a review term that you're going to be responsible for, or metadata includes information such as the project author, title, or subject. Keywords are words or phrases that further describe the document, and those are found in the document information panel. Standard properties are associated with all Office documents, include author, title, and subject. And then we have the automatically updated properties, such as the file size, the date you modify it. So those include your file system properties. And as I mentioned, the document information panel contains areas where you can enter document properties. Viewing the presentation in slideshow view. Sometimes I call it presentation view, but slideshow view is what you want to use. You don't want to use the normal view when you're presenting this material or when you're standing in front of an audience. You can start slideshow view from the normal view or the slide sorter view. It's in the bottom part of your screen. You just click on it on the far right. Slideshow view begins when you click the slideshow button in the lower right corner of the PowerPoint window on the status bar. And then printing a presentation. A printed version is called a hard copy or printout. You can actually print the slide handouts as well, so you can get 6 or 9 slides on a page, which is kind of nice if you're giving those to your audience. And then green computing involves reducing the environmental waste generated when using a computer. And there you have it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't get Mr. Merrill to say hi, but anyway, hopefully you'll see him soon. You can say hi to him. But anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you later.